Hello. Okay, so I feel a little nervous sharing here, but I wanted to share about a topic I have been thinking about a lot, which is uncovering your truth. And if you've been following me, you probably have seen that because it's been something that I've been sharing a lot about. I've shared a meditation and a workbook, and it's something that I also wanted to explain in video because I know that people absorb information in different ways. Let me just remember. Okay, so why is uncovering your truth important? You may be wondering. And the reason why it's important is because in our society, there's so many things that take us away from ourselves. It almost feels as though our society is almost like meant to take us away from ourselves between, our culture, capitalism, just the grind of how we always feel like we should just be on the go. And then pressures from our family, from other people in our lives, pressures to be a good partner, all of these things can keep taking us away from our truth, from the stillness that's required to really get in touch with our truth. And so that's why it's so important. And so at the end of our lives, when we look back and we can see my life was the way I wanted to be, my career, my life purpose, my relationships, where I lived, all of it was how I had pictured it or fulfilled my dreams. I wasn't carried away by each day that had me not live the life that I want. And so that's why I think it's so important to take time to slow down and be really intentional. And it is a process. It takes, in my opinion, a commitment. And I think it's also a revolutionary act because so many of these systems are meant to take our power away. How can we have power when we're in the grind? It has us not look up from what we're doing. It has us keep going. And when we come back to ourselves, I believe that we would all act in revolutionary ways. We would want to connect more with the earth. We would be more connected with the earth. We would be more connected with our intuitions and divesting from these systems. So that's why I believe slowing down is so important, and that it's a process. It's a necessary process. So the reason why it's a process it has to be a committed process is because there are blocks to it between our society, and then also there can be body blocks. Like I know for me, I've dealt with dissociation. So anxiety is something I've always dealt with. So my body slowing down to really get in touch with what does my heart want, what does my gut want, takes time. And so because of that, it has to be a process. And then there's also our fears that a lot of the times, the more that we don't really build a relationship with our patterns, the more that we may see that we may not realize that underneath the discomfort is fundamentally fear. The reason why we get up and are so concentrated on our job, are so on our to-do list, is because underneath it, it's fear, or whatever that looks like for us. We may not know what our own patterns are around that, but becoming familiar with underneath all of our patterns, that there's fear there, takes intentional time of stillness, of slowness, of looking, and also nourishing our nervous system so that we have the capacity, and that may also be asking for support, so we have the capacity to actually feel the emotions of fear, because a lot of the times if it's a deep fear, it can be really old fear. It could be fears based off of, really hard events or traumatic events in our lives. And so we need support to be able to do that. So it actually takes an intentional process. I think I've already said this, but I really have been sitting with the fact that slowness is what creates centeredness, and centeredness is what creates intentionality. It takes us in the route, and following our intuition takes us in the route of our dreams, takes us in the route of finding all of the things that are perfectly aligned to us. So instead of getting into productivity and working all the time, working to get, the perfect job for us, really letting things flow. And that takes slowness and being centered in each of our steps. So I just wanted to share more about why I think it's so important to uncover our truth. As some of you may know, I do have a course coming up on March 8th for 4 weeks. I am all into growth, and I also really think it's interesting to think through almost the patterns that always come up, so that we can build more familiarity, build more resources, and understand kind of the themes of the patterns so that we can come back to the process. So I want everyone to come away from the course with a lot of resources, and there'll be, assignments in between, and a lot of intentionality created in this space. I'll bring a lot of different things, and also connecting more to our bodies instead of our heads, because that's so important to healing. So there's gonna be a lot of healing. It's gonna be a beautiful space, and the idea that everyone can come away with just more clarity and just ready to see their path in front of them and be able to go that way, it just makes me so happy. So if you can join, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. And also if you have anything that's holding you back, I do want to make this space available. It's my first course, so I do have more flexibility. So if there's anything that's holding you back, but you are interested, let me know and we can talk about it. Okay, I look forward to sharing more with all of you, and I hope if this has been useful at all, just please let me know, and that would really help me feel encouraged with everything. Thank you.